Shalom, shalom. Let me just send this out. Hold on. Hold on. All right. In one more second. I got this. All right. Shalom, shalom. Giving all glory, praise, and honor to all right, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, which hold the conduct, composure, and integrity. All right, this is the brother Yaakov Wall. And as you see, this is why knowing a little about everything is good. All right. Hey, right off the bat, Psalms tells you, man, that the understanding of the Lord is infinite. All right. In fact, let me go and get that real quick. But the reason why I'm making this lesson is because, I was looking at something earlier, basically to protect myself, and it was basically over a law that Esau has made, in the past. He criminalized, any style or make of knife. This is back in before 2010. It was illegal to own a blade over 3 inches, I believe, and especially owning a balisong knife or a switchblade or an OTF, which is just simply out the front blade, or what do you call a fixed blade. And anyways, so I had bought something, man, a while back for work, and technically they classified it as illegal in the past years. I got a balisong knife, and it was a Benchmade. That's why I bought it. But I live in a different state from the laws that I used to know back where I lived back in Texas. So laws, differ from state to state. That's to keep the confusion. All right. But back in 2010, a bill had already been signed that did away with the criminalization or concealment. It did away with not allowing the concealment of certain, blades and everything. So, and technically you could have a blade that was over 3.5 inches, in your glove compartment. They couldn't take you to jail. But if you notice, when a Jake gets arrested today, they'll tell you, he had, did such and such. He had, these knives and, brass knuckle and this and that. And this ain't a lesson about, I was even skeptical. I was like, man, I don't need Jake wilding out like this guy over here ain't right because he's talking about, weapons and shit. It's not about that, man. I was trying to search because I have a couple of knives in my car that I would take for work, or that I just keep in my car, for protection from outside the house, right? And there's one in particular that, years ago you could have been arrested for. But this is the thing, Esau will just lock you up because he'll dictate what the law is. But this is why knowing a little bit of the law is always good. That's why when we go out to the highways and byways, it's good to know the laws or the ordinances, to the city. All right. and one thing too, man, this devil is meticulous. All right. He's very meticulous with the wording. All right. When you look at an ordinance or a statute about disorderly public, what do you call it? A public disturbance. They'll define it as anything that incites abuse, violence, or aggression. Well, they'll say that the dominant aggressor is the one who'll be arrested. Which, who's going to believe a bunch of men out on the streets, rough looking and speaking a firm message? All right, it's our word against the wickedness of this world. So, but, you know, when you look into these words, you can break it down like, nah, that's not what that means. This is what that means, blah, blah, blah. We ain't talking to them. We're talking to the camera. We didn't incite anything. They got aggressive. So they're the dominant. You know, that's how you work with the law. You can use these things, and as long as you have a little bit of knowledge about it, man, it's always good, because Esau is a devil. You know, he's out there just devouring however he will. That's why you have the scriptures in Peter where it says that be sober, be vigilant, which sober-minded, all right, vigilant, you know what you got to know what you're doing out here, all right, because the adversary, your devil, is walking about like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. And Satan, you know, the devil, is using Esau mainly, you know, to trap Jacob in this system. Like Elder Ariala said, man, the system is hunting Jake. And that goes back to Esau and his cunningness. So, you know, even with words, the scriptures say that he frameth mischief. He frameth law in mischief. He frameth law by mischief, Salakia. All right. So, you know, let me go ahead and read this. You know, I don't want to get too far off of this lesson, but Ecclesiasticus 5:15 says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Again, hold on, let me get the whole chapter. Again, Sirach 5:15, it says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, you know, before I was driving, I was actually thinking about how Esau, you know, just arrests Jake for no reason, or they'll put a charge on them, but you'll find out that that charge has been outlawed, or the law that they're trying to use to, you know, keep Jake as the accused and guilty has already been outlawed. You know, so like, you know, like I was driving and I haven't taken this knife out of my car yet, and I was like, you know what? In Texas, I would have been okay, because the law stipulates that you can carry these certain weapons now in your car, but the law is actually in effect only if you're not allowed to possess a firearm. So if you had like a felony or whatever, so under that circumstances, that law becomes valid. But if you don't have any restrictions on owning a firearm, you know, you can have these weapons in your car, certain knives, you know, axes and bats and all that shit. You can have a blade over 3 inches. So that's what I was looking into, and I found out in Wisconsin it's the same way as Texas. There was a law back in 2015, an Assembly Bill like 142, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, an Assembly Bill 142 signed by Governor Scott Walker in 2015, but he signed it into law on February 6th of 2016, which this law, all right, it says that it removed all restrictions on concealed carry of all knives from Wisconsin statutes. This included switchblades, sometimes called automatic knives, but it took away that criminalization. So if you don't know these things, you know, it's going to be easy for Esau to take you up, man. That's why, like, you know, we're laboring, you know, and we're finding out all these things every day, man. You know, brothers have bought law books, you know, looked into certain statutes. You know, when I dealt with my situation back in, you know, Platteville, I was going into the tenant laws because of what my landlord was doing. And I was using it against her to let her know, like, you fucking around, bro. Like, you think you can just, I was like, check your tenant laws. You ain't allowed to do this. But, you know, as long as you can, you know a little bit about something about, or know a little something about everything, you know, that's good, man. It keeps you protected. All right. This is Psalms 147 and, Salakia. Yeah, so Salakia, Psalms 147 and 5. It says, great is our Lord and of great power. His understanding is infinite. And hey, man, Esau, he's created over 33,000 laws, man, in this country. Now, we're not going to learn them all, and we're not supposed to, because all these laws are actually oppressive and mischievous laws. Again, you know, I quoted that scripture in Psalms, all right, which is said, which frameth law by mischief. Hold on. All right, and this is why it's difficult for Jake to get out of a situation when he's, caught up in the system, because, once they get you in the system, they got their people they need to go into every law and read every word, and every word has a double definition behind it, and it's made like that so you don't waste your time, or that you don't spend your time reading, because that shit will get tiring and vexing. But it says in Psalms 94:20, it says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law. And that's exactly what Esau's laws are. They are mischievous. All right. Majority of Jake doesn't know even the basics of things that Esau comes with. And some of the basics, actually can protect you still. I know, I did a video a while back with, going over child support in it with Title 4D. But you look into that, and the whole way that the court system is set up to run child support, it's fucking illegal. But as long as you don't know, they can do it. But when you get that information, when you get the understanding and realize, like, y'all are doing this is fraud, the way that y'all conducted the court, you're violating my 14th Amendment. All right. You find out that the license that you have, your ID, when you sign it, that's you signing into a contract. See, Esau's crafty, man. Again, he's cunning. He's skillfully deceptive. By you signing in cursive, you're signing into a contract. All right. And then you realize that when you look at your ID or any identification, your name is in all caps. That's because Esau's literally capitalizing off of you. You become a product. All right, you become a slave. That's what the Social Security was about. All right, the birth certificate, because they have the letters of your name, your first, your middle, your last name, all capped. So because they're capitalizing off of you. All right, you're signing into contracts without even realizing. And then when you use these certain words in that contract, because you have no knowledge, now they have the right to do it. See, with the license, what do you call that? Is that what it's? Yeah, the license, your driver's license. There you go. Goddamn. With your driver's license, if you go on YouTube, you can watch videos of men and women trying to exercise their 14th Amendment, which is the right to travel. If you tell an officer, when they try to say, well, your license is suspended, or, where are you driving to? They say these words for a reason, because under the contract, drive is the word that's used for the word for travel. But when you go into the 14th Amendment, it tells you have the right to travel. That in any infringement or hindrance to that is a violation of your constitutional law. So if you tell an officer, I'm traveling, they can't do nothing. That's why they get pissed. And that's why they'll illegally detain and then arrest you. Because Esau is about framing law by mischief. All right. But that is an example. You got to learn your words. You got to be careful how you word things in this time too. Because again, Esau through his system will make paper validate or valid use against you no matter what, So that's why when you go to combat it, if you decide to take it to court and this and that, you got to make sure that you know what you're doing, because they'll bring out a law that says, well, under stipulation 5, code 3-5921, it clearly states, and that's the law framed by mischief. Because like I was saying with Title 4D, man, the whole court system is a tribunal. It's not a court system. The DA, the chief judge, even the fucking what do you call it, the caseworker, man, they're all under a contract with the OSCE. Yeah, is it the OSCE? No, OCSE, Slovakia. Damn. But they're all under contract, and they get commission from the money that is taken from your checks. Because that money goes overseas to where the money can't be taxed, which is Title 4D. But all these people in the court system are under the same contract with each other. They're literally working together. that violates your right to a speedy and fair process of trial. How is it fair when everybody's in cahoots with each other? I'll just use that word. All right. But then, they'll try to imprison you, which is called debtor's prison or debtor's jail, which was a law that was outlawed back in 1833. Because if you get behind on your child support, they'll threaten to put you in jail. That's illegal. Now, if you're battling it through the system, if you hire someone who can defend you on that aspect, they can actually sue the court once they try to threaten to put you into jail. See, when you learn the devil, you can fight back, man. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices, because Satan is very crafty in this time. All right, that's why I said it's very good to know a little bit about everything. All right, and it's okay if you don't know something. You don't know something, look it up immediately. That's what I did here. I was looking up if it was okay in Wisconsin to have this certain weapon that I have, a certain blade, and there's no restriction. It says if you're not allowed to possess a firearm, I'm allowed to, So that's not the premise of this lesson, bro. Like, I'm not trying to tell Jake to go out and buy, weapons, because again, we got to walk wisely in this time. The scriptures talk about being wise as a serpent. A serpent is crafty, man. They're subtle. They can sneak too. So in a sense, but we do it properly, right? Doesn't the scriptures tell you? Because like I said, I'm not here advocating to go out and buy a firearm or a knife of your choosing and be wild with it. Man, we do things in a lawful manner. 1 Corinthians 9, and let's see. Where is that scripture? Hold on. There we go. Oh, 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy is 2 and 4. It says, or 2 and 5, it says, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. See, we're doing this thing lawfully. All right? Ain't nothing wrong with certain things. All right? Ain't nothing wrong with owning certain properties. But, you can't put your trust in it. You can't be reckless with it. You can't be wild with it. And you got to be wise when you talk about it, because you could run into a Jake. You find out he's trigger happy, and he go find out he could buy a gun, and he's fucking, going, he bugs out, uses it, But, yeah, man, that's just really the whole reason why I was even making this lesson. Be not ignorant in anything, in a great or a small matter. All right, because that gives you ammunition to defend yourself against an oppressive and an unrighteous decree. All right. So let me go back. Let me see. Yeah, I go ahead and get that. I'll get that one in Matthew. This will be a short video. Let me see. The premise of this lesson was just to show that it's as simple as looking it up. You just got to go on your phone, go on Google Chrome, and Google is a good tool, man. I use that a lot to find scriptures quickly, rather than flipping a page, or if I can't remember it, I'll type it on Google in a certain way. I know how to use Google really well, man, and it's very helpful. It helps me find things really a lot quicker, okay? There are things you got to chew the meat, spit out the bone, but you'll find that if you just put a little effort to it, you can find the root of all things, man. All right. But Matthew 5, and let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. This is Matthew 10 and 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. That's why I quoted earlier the scripture in Peter where it says that, the devil walketh about seeking whom he may devour. But then you also got, I believe in Ephesians, it tells you that we walk in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation. So, your attempt to defend at times still may not even work. But to know it, to have, this is the thing, man, I told a brother, man, to have it on paper in this time is needed. To have it documented is how Esau goes about prosecution. All right, he goes about it with law. It's got to be in a written form because it's a contract. I mean, they say that a verbal contract is admissible, but I mean, you can't bring that into a court and have it, hold weight. In time, you got to have it documented. You got to give it, the more people you got to file with too, man, makes it even better, But, yeah, and this time, man, Esau does everything with paper. And he thinks by stamping a seal or some shit that it makes it, fair and, valid. But, so we got to be, there's a reason why the Lord gave us the blueprint through the devil's eyes. All right, the devil being Esau, we see his intention. We see that his counsel is to cast down the children of uprightness. It's to destroy those that bring out fruitful actions. All right, and because the children of this world are wiser than the children of the light, because he's fucking cunning and crafty as hell, man, he's able to get away with a lot of shit. As far as physical, carnal, in a carnal view, but we know, the Lord's he's gonna recompense everything. But while we're here in this crooked and perverse generation, we gotta also keep ourselves tight, and we gotta know things, all right, to protect ourselves. So it said, because like it says right here, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Wolves tear, man, and a sheep ain't gonna win against a wolf. Even a big ass sheep against a little wolf is not gonna win. That little wolf's gonna tear that sheep up, all right, because sheep aren't really. They don't have anything they don't have a defense mechanism. They can only run and pray to the Lord that there's shepherds around the corner, with that big ass whip hitting staff. All right. But it says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Now that was also talking about the wolves of Jake, because Yahushua was sending his disciples to go do, works and teach as well around Jake. And they did come to areas around the actual heathen, but the real wolves was our people, But this can also be used in this time, the wolves being the other, Esau, all right, this world in general now. It says, because it says, but be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and Gentiles. Your best defense in court is to either be quiet or know something. All right? Because they got to record it, And if you know your rights, which even at that, man, the 3/5 compromise, that applies to all Jake. Well, it's either 10 or 15. No, it was either, well, in the beginning, it was 15. It took 15 black men to equal one white man, going back into like the 1800s and all that. I believe it's like 1 in 11 Latinos, 1 in 7 with the Native American Indians. Okay, so even defending yourself against the laws that weren't even made for you, but still the Lord worked. He worked his switch up on the Esau, man. The Constitution rights, which the freedom to press, the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, the right to a fair and speedy trial. These actually were created for Jake because they can be used still. All right. And this time too, because Esau's trying to keep Jake off his ass. He's trying to keep the world from catching on that he's a devil. He's starting to give a little bit more mercy. I won't even call it mercy, but he's starting to give leniency to Jake in this time when they come with the law. Because he's like, well, he's right. He read the law, the proper, it's what it says. Go ahead, let him go. But that's all a ruse. That's all the guys, because the devil will always be the devil, and he'll let Jake have a little bit of free time for now, but he's gonna come with his horns. But you know, if you're not being wise, if you're not knowing something, man, Esau can snatch you up for whatever reason. All right. He don't need a reason to take you up. He could just not like you, or just not like how you respond, and all right, you're arrested. That's why it's important to know your rights. All right. You know, you can. I've been watching some shit too, man. You know, when you open your door to the car, you're giving them the right, regardless of if you say no. You've given them the right to basically do whatever they want to do. But when they're on the outside, they can only do so much, and then it can be recorded. So just, you know, this whole point was just know a little bit about everything. All right. So with that, Lord willing, it was edifying, short video. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and much love, honors and blessings to the elect of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Hey, shalom, shalom. Hey, with that, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, honor, and love, and blessings to the elect of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Hey, get your wits, keep them close, and continue to strive. With that, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Barakatham, Kwame Sha'Allah Shalom.